My sister had a child early, and her partner at the time decided to leave. I helped out a lot with the child and consider him my own. I told him if he did well in his classes, I would send him to a private school. From a young age, he seemed to have an affinity for sciences. At the age of 8, I decided to transfer him into a private school. He excels there, and I'm very happy. Right about after he moved in, she got married and had a stepdaughter. She's a nice kid and all, but I haven't been in touch with them because I recently had a child of my own. My sister called me up and said her stepdaughter would be turning 8 soon and wanted to go to a private school. She reminded me that I told her I would always help her children out. True, but never did I think she would assume I would be helping her stepchildren out. Those children aren't related to me. She's really upset because she knows I could afford it, but I personally am not out here to sponsor her stepkids, and I told her that. Next thing I know, her husband wants to have a beer with me, and this loser tried telling me the benefits of having a blended family and that I should want that too. This guy is as big of an idiot as they come, in my opinion, and I told him I wouldn't be sponsoring his daughter, and he could do the best they can. I've just received a huge text, and she's threatening to pull her nephew out of private school. I feel horrible and have no idea how to handle this. You offered to help her first kid because she was a single mom, not put all of her children through private school. If they want to send her to one, then daddy should foot the bill. She's threatening her son's future to be petty. That's just ducked up. She is threatening to remove her son from a private school that you pay for, in order to manipulate you into paying for her stepdaughter to go to a private school as well. Depends on the route you want to go, but I'd call her bluff. He wants you to blend his family by what? Giving him $9,000 a year for the next 10 years? That'll make his family super close and blended? Then what? Is he suddenly not going to be entitled and will happily jump off the gravy train? No, of course not. Then you'll need to pay for higher education. Then his daughter will probably have a dream wedding, or need a house deposit, or maybe an extensive honeymoon in the Maldives. You know, all those things that make a family blended. I'd put your sister on blast and advertise that she's willing to ruin her kid's future and his friendships, etc., out of spite. Life isn't fair, and whilst she's married into that family, the stepchild has no relation to you. Keep providing for your nephew, and if she does go through with it, make sure he knows what's happened, and not that you suddenly decided to stop paying. Knocking one kid down doesn't build the other one up. Some background. My 28 female, husband, 27 male, Chris, works for a construction company. His direct boss is a woman, 28 female, Hannah, and their boss is Hannah's dad. A little over a year ago, I found out that Chris was cheating on me with Hannah. I found mountains of evidence on his computer and phone. There were text messages of him calling her his girlfriend, talking about how in love with each other they were. There were nude photos of her, videos of them having sex, etc. They had been having a love affair behind my back for at least a year, likely longer. After reading the messages, it's clear that Hannah knew I existed and that Chris and I had 2 daughters together. Chris hadn't told Hannah about my second pregnancy until close to the birth, but they still saw each other up to and post-birth. Chris is the breadwinner of our home. I'm a stay-at-home mom to our 2 daughters. This put me in a horrible position on what to do about this. Eventually, I confronted him about everything. He admitted it, said it was a mistake, vowed to end things with Hannah. I ended up sending Hannah a pretty lengthy text message saying that she ruined my marriage and that what she did was a horrible thing to do to another woman. She never answered. I had asked Chris to find another job, but he refused, saying the pay and insurance benefits for our family were too good to pass up. I agreed as long as communication with Hannah was at a bare minimum, strictly professional as she technically is his boss. Again, this was over a year ago. We have worked hard to move past this, and things have been overall okay in our relationship. But recently I've been noticing a similar pattern of behavior from Chris. Things he was doing in the time he was having an affair with Hannah. Going in early, staying later than he put his hours in for. I've checked the phone records and it seems he has been talking to her more than usual. I asked him about this, but he's denied anything is going on. He also says Hannah is in a relationship and has been living with this man for a year, and there is nothing happening between them any longer. I listened to my gut that told me something was off. I called their company's office. I was told by the woman I spoke to that they don't involve themselves with the personal lives of their employees. She hung up on me. Chris came home livid that day. The woman in the office called Hannah and told her. Hannah laughed and ended up telling Chris I called. Chris is now yelling at me saying I overstepped, that nothing is going on between them. He's also mad because if anything were to happen, he would be the one to get fired, based on Hannah's position at the company, and that her dad is her boss. Also, Chris's brother works for Hannah. He is very close friends with her. He knew about the affair. My father-in-law is also an employee of Hannah. He also knew about the affair. Hannah's dad is aware as well. How do I get this woman out of our lives? How can I trust my husband again? Hannah is obviously not going anywhere, and I am so uncomfortable with them working together. I also have no evidence the cheating is still happening. What should I do? Thanks in advance. So here's the thing. Your problem is with your husband. If you don't trust him, it's done. If you're calling his work and stuff to hunt down what is going on, and honestly, if I'd answered the phone, I would have told you the same and also probably hung up. I'm not sure what you were hoping to gain by calling. Then that's a sign that this marriage is over. I get the anger at Hannah, but she's not the person you need to be worrying about. Your concern is your husband. Same goes for calling his work. I get why distrust might make you think this was reasonable, but again, the problem is your husband, and calling his work is not going to remedy that. Basically, stop focusing on all these outside things and start focusing on the actual issue, which is that you don't trust your husband. He's done nothing to remedy that, won't leave his job where he sees the affair partner daily, etc. Hannah and the job are not the problem here when you are strictly looking at the state of your marriage. It's your husband and his inability to act in a way that regains your trust. Your request that your husband find a new job was reasonable, and the fact that he didn't agree speaks volumes about where his mind is at on this topic. I'd be gone. My daughter, 15 female, has a 529 that my ex-husband and I set up and have been paying into. She has about $73K in there for her college. My ex-husband and I broke up amicably, so we still have been contributing jointly. My current husband and I started dating 6 years ago and got married 3 years ago. His son, 18 male, is attending college this fall and is paying out of pocket. His ex-wife and him apparently didn't save anything for his son, and so he has to take out loans. He brought up the idea of splitting my daughter's college fund with his son because she is a few years from needing it, so he thought I could take out half of what I put in to give to him. I told him I've been paying for my daughter way longer than we've been together, and she knows there's money set aside for her schooling. No one is entitled to it but her. He laughed it off and accused me of being too serious. Last night, though, he brought it up again and got more demanding, saying his son is going to be stuck with a ton of debt, and I've known him since he was 12, and I have an obligation to help. I told him he has to help his son, and I never agreed to help his son pay for college, especially not through my daughter's fund. He got angry and accused me of not loving his son, otherwise I would be sharing the college fund, and drove off. He came back after a few hours and apologized, and then this afternoon after work brought up me helping his son with college again, which I shot down, and he got angry at me for it again. Not the a-hole. His son isn't entitled to the fund that you and your ex-husband is funding. Your ex-husband isn't doing that for him. He's doing it for his daughter. He could ask you to currently help his son out, but even then, if you say no, it's not fair for him to get mad. Not the a-hole, and draw a line in the sand. Make sure your husband knows that the money will never be going towards his son, and he should never ask again. Seriously, draw that line in the sand. I'm mad that he's already brought it up so many times. Good on you for standing your ground. If your husband won't listen, have your ex-husband spell it out to him clear as day, because he put money into that too. I'm sure your ex would be livid, your daughter would be livid, and you need to be livid. This has nothing to do about loving your stepson. You can love him with all your heart and still not screw over your daughter. My coworker M and I found out that we're planning on wearing the same dress, same design, material and color, only the sizes differ, to our upcoming company Christmas party. The party is a big deal. The attire is black tie, and over 500 people will attend. I bought my dress earlier this year when I saw it at a department store. I loved the design, and the fit is amazing on me. So I bought it even though I didn't know where I would wear it yet. M bought hers last month when she looked for dresses that fit the party's color motif. M asked if I could wear something else because she had limited dress options due to her being overweight. She said that dress is the perfect one for her. It's very forgiving and flattering for her figure, and she just wants to be noticed and feel beautiful for one night. She said that if I wore it, it would look better on me, so people would give their attention to me. I'm not overweight, but I have my own flaws, and that dress is the one that I feel most beautiful in. I also don't want to spend another couple $100s to buy another dress when I already have one that I love. So I told him that I'm sorry, but I can't accommodate her request. I said that I think we should both wear the dress if it's what makes us feel beautiful. For me, it's not a contest, and people can find both of us beautiful in that dress. It's not like one of us will automatically be deemed ugly once the other one is deemed to look good in that dress. There are also hundreds of other women who will attend the party, and we don't know if one of them will also be wearing the same thing. M burst into tears and said that I don't know how it feels to be overweight, and I'm being selfish. She has given me the cold shoulder since then. It's not my intention to hurt her, but I don't think what I said is unreasonable. Not the a-hole. Everyone can wear whatever they want to the party, as long as it fits the dress code. Your coworker sounds like she is very sensitive about her weight, but her insecurities shouldn't be pushed onto you. All that matters is how that dress makes you feel. I hope you have a wonderful time at the party. Not the a-hole. She's insecure and was very happy to find a dress she feels gorgeous in. She asked if you could find something else, so she, and other people, wouldn't compare her in the dress to you in the dress. It wasn't an a-hole move for her to ask. Other hand, not your job to accommodate the request. It's a work party, not a party she's throwing or in her honor, where you'd be more obligated to go buy a new dress. It'd be very kind of you to do so, but you're not the a-hole for not wanting to find and buy another dress last minute. Right now, she's closer to being the a-hole for her continuing behavior, but I still don't think she's over the line, just upset and embarrassed. He and his ex have been divorced for 6 years. They have a 7-year-old daughter together. He spent every Christmas with them, even after divorce. We met September 2020. He spent that Christmas with his ex and daughter. I was more than fine because we were just starting. Christmas 2021, he spent it with his ex and their daughter. I was weirded out, but since we didn't actually live together. We moved in together March 2022. Yesterday, he was asking me if I'm going to spend Christmas with my parents again. They live 9 hours away. I was like, "Excuse me?" He was confused. I asked him if he thought it was okay to spend Christmas with his ex-wife now that he has a live-in girlfriend. He said, "What's that supposed to mean? We have a little kid together." I asked him if he thought all divorced parents spent Christmas together just because they have small children. He said this is their tradition. I'm packing my things now. Am I the a-hole for thinking my boyfriend shouldn't spend Christmas with his ex just because they share a child? You should have added in your post that your boyfriend is away for 4 days, from December 23rd through to December 26th. You should have also added that you are absolutely not invited to your boyfriend and his ex's Christmas party. You should also have included that your boyfriend and his ex has shared custody of the daughter, and that she lives with you 50% of the time. No, you are not the a-hole under those premises, OP. Not the a-hole. Keep packing. If you're good enough to live with and care for his child when he has 50-50 custody, you should be good enough to spend holidays together. The fact that he plans to spend 3 to 4 days away at Christmas with his ex and exclude you is not weird. It's disrespectful. You're a maid, a babysitter, and someone he can have S with. Excluding you to that degree is very telling. It's not like he's just going over to the ex's house to open gifts and have brunch. It's for 4 days. I'd leave too, OP.